Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. It's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. Today, I want to talk about reframing our resolutions. Resolutions fail most of the time. Most people fail at their resolutions before the end of January. And that leaves us feeling kind of bad about things. We had such great ideas, high hopes, and then it kind of fizzled out. And so, I want to talk about a different way to think about resolutions. Why don't resolutions work? Well, a few reasons. First, they're often vague, right? We say things like, I want to get healthy or I want to read more. What does that even mean, right? We don't have specific enough goals. Now, sometimes we get specific, but we get too specific and then they become inflexible. So we say things like, I'm going to eat 15 different vegetables every week, or, I'm going to read 37 books this year. We don't know what's going to happen this year, right? The only thing we know is that change is constant. And so when we have super specific, very inflexible plans, then we're setting ourselves up for failure there as well. Another reason why resolutions often fail is that they're just too unrealistic to begin with. If your resolution is that you're going to somehow become a daily meditator and you're going to be meditating, 30 minutes a day, and yet you've never meditated for a minute in your life, how likely is that to happen right away? When we make change, it typically needs to happen incrementally. It's not like we make these huge, big life changes right overnight and then, all of a sudden all of our problems are resolved. And so I want to propose kind of a different plan. If you're someone who likes to do New Year's resolutions, I'm calling this plan, direction is better than perfection. I think what we need to do is define an intention. So, what do we want to do? A specific intention, and then have a plan to back it up, right? So really get granular about how you're going to do this. So if you want to kind of reframe your resolutions into a bit more of a kinder and more realistic way to do things, there are a couple things that you're going to want to think about. First, you're really going to be wanting to think about incremental improvement. So let's say we're going to take that meditating example. If you want to meditate 30 minutes a day, you're not going to start there. Why don't you start by 1 minute a day? Or maybe just 1 minute 3 times a week, right? Start with something really small so that you can get those incremental gains so that you can start to build confidence around the new habit. Now you're also going to want to make a real plan for it, right? So, okay, you're going to meditate for 1 minute a day at the beginning. When are you actually going to do that? Are you going to do it first thing when you get up? Are you going to do it, on while your coffee is getting ready, right? Are you going to do it during lunch? When are you actually going to do it? Are you going to set a timer for yourself to make it happen? Because it's not easy to remember new things that we're trying to do. What's that plan? Then you also want to be prepared to pivot, right? You want to be prepared to pivot your plan. Because what's going to happen is that things are going to change, right? Maybe you're saying, well, I'm going to meditate every day at 7 a.m. when I wake up. And then, everything changes with your kids' school and they're no longer, going to school at 7 a.m. anymore. So you can't meditate then. Well, what are you going to do then? You really want to be prepared to have if then plans. You're not going to know everything, right? But be prepared to say, okay, what's working now isn't working anymore. And so, what am I going to do differently so that I can still make progress on this goal? And then finally, it might be helpful to create some flexible rules for yourself so that you don't feel like you're failing when you slip up every once in a while. A long time ago, I had a friend who told me her kind of brilliant strategy around exercise and her exercise regimen, which was this: she just never skips more than one day in a row. What I loved about this is that it's giving yourself some grace. It's saying, you know what? There are going to be days when I feel lazy or tired or I just don't have enough time. And that's okay. I'm not going to beat myself up about not going to the gym, but I'm not going to skip 2 days in a row. And that way, we take what could be a slip up and it doesn't turn into a downward spiral. So if you're thinking about, putting some resolutions in place, about changing some goals for this year, really think about what kind of flexible rules you could give yourself that allow you to get back on track without feeling bad about yourself. So whatever you choose, whether you're a resolution person or not, I hope you'll take this as a helpful reframe to think about how we can more incrementally and more successfully make progress on these resolutions so that we don't become those people who have just given up completely by January 19th. Happy New Year.
Hey guys, quick reminder to like and subscribe. Only 1% of you guys that actually watch our videos are actually subscribed, so if you could subscribe, it would be a really big help.